Hi guys, welcome to I'm Judging. Today we are going to discuss the episode that they hyped us up for, episode 9, The Ambush. I want to say please forgive me for the raspiness of my voice. I'm not feeling the best right now, but I definitely want to give you this content. I'm Judging is pretty much as stated. We're going to be judging the mess out of these shows, you guys, in a fun and cute way. Let's get into it. Okay, so it's the first part, and Mia is showing that she confused Karen's words about hosting her birthday party. I question if Mia is really confused when she's talking to Jacqueline about it in the bathroom, but you never know with Mia what's really going on. But pretty much Jacqueline clears it up and says, no, she said you didn't have to worry about it if you didn't want to, or so many words. She was saying you didn't have to host her party. And then in the next scene, you see Mia saying this trip is about Karen, which confuses me because I thought when Mia first presented the Miami trip, she just presented it to G, her husband, as being a girl's trip to Miami because she hasn't been in a while. Neither here nor there. You see the ladies at the table. They start having light conversation. Ashley starts off with the cheers to Karen, and she's like, and Giselle says, let's discuss the funny moment. They all discuss the funny moment. It's hilarious. We're all kikiing, especially when she says, Robin, I helped you get that ring. And Robin's like, you know what, girl, you sure did, because that's hilarious. Because we all know that was not true. Then comes the entertainers with the fire, and Giselle's interaction with Karen afterwards. She was like, Karen, you really like this? And she's like, oh, Giselle, this is so sexy. And that was hilarious because it's just like, girl, it's just fire. Relax. So then Karen brings up how well Candace and Ashley are getting along, and they quickly correct her and like, no, we just tabled our issues for Wendy, which of course opened up a can of worms where Ashley is like, speaking of which, your husband has been threatening me on Twitter. And then Giselle says, oh, he's threatening you. I thought he was threatening me. And of course, Candace shuts them all down, which Charisse is like, what's very disappointing? I feel like we can never have a dinner without there being some sort of confrontation. Because it definitely changed the mood. The mood went down 100 degrees. It was terrible. Yeah, it is sad. But either way, Jacqueline calls out she calls out Candace's defensiveness. And Candace is like, I am not defensive, and calls Jacqueline and says, who are you anyway? Mia's representative? And so here we go again with her being condescending with her words. It's just not necessary. People are literally talking to you and you're being dismissive because you're not answering their questions or concerns because you're just saying that they're rumors. But meanwhile, remember, whenever Candace's feelings are hurt, if you don't listen to Candace, honey, she will have a complete meltdown, throw herself down a flight of stairs. She's going to act a fool. So it's just very interesting how Candace just can't balance, or she doesn't provide reciprocity to her girlfriends. And of course, I'm saying girlfriends with air quotes. Okay, so we go into the second part, and we still don't know, but we got a bit of a clue that the recording that Robin used during the trailer of episode 9 to blast Candace, it seems like she actually recorded it from her Instagram Live. But we don't get into it in this part. In this part, we're still discussing Candace and Wendy. Mia and Jacqueline are discussing Candace and Wendy, especially Candace calling Jacqueline Mia's representative. And they question, which I feel like they made a great point. If you are so loyal, Candace, to Wendy, why are you staying at the house? Because technically, there's nobody that Candace likes at that house. Maybe she's neutral with Karen and, of course, Charisse. But outside of that, she doesn't really like anybody at the house. So you would think she would have just went on and stayed with Wendy. We see Charisse goes to check on Candace about last night, and Candace like openly confides in her and tells her, it was rough, but you see that Candace is still being very defensive about the fact that, that they would even accuse her husband of flirting with their friends, and Giselle even feeling uncomfortable. It's not even a thought that can cross her mind. And then she goes to be even more nastier and asks Charisse, do you believe that Ashley's divorce is real? Because she's talking about how Ashley's saying that she wants to buy property and things of that nature. I don't know, guys. I gotta be honest. I feel like because of TV and because of how life is, you should never, because, honey, man will fail you. Ain't that what we learn in the Bible? You should never put 1,000% trust in anyone. And so to boldly go before everybody after several women have come forward, several as in 2 to 3, and said something about your husband being flirtatious, I don't know. It's dangerous ground, because these women, they like to hold receipts and bring them out during the reunions and stuff like that. So I would tread lightly so I wouldn't fall flat on my face. But Candace is going hard for her husband, honey, and I love it. But I don't like how just because she feels the need to go hard for her husband, you got to tear down the other woman, meaning Ashley, because that's the part where they keep falling short. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, yeah, they being nasty to you, but by you pulling them down, it doesn't help the situation. And so that's the part where, as condescending as you feel like you can be with these women, it's not helping. Moving on, Candace states that she wants Wendy to come back to be her buffer, is what she tells Charisse. And then later on, the girls go downstairs, and Mia's like, hey, girls, we have something planned. But Karen, Mia, Jacqueline, and G are all going on a separate excursion. And the rest of the girls, Ashley, Charisse, Giselle, Robin, and Candace, will be on a boat. And it just seems strange that she would have divided the group up like that, but hey, so be it. I also want to say I do feel that your girl Candace is not wanting Wendy there because she's such a great friend to her. I think she wants Wendy there for selfish reasons, but I think that speaks more to Candace's nature. She really is all about Candace. Okay, so for part 3, there's clarification. When Mia said G was coming, she was referencing Giselle. So my bad on that part. But the ladies are excited as they are noticing that they will be riding in Lambos. Karen is a little, ungrateful because they're riding Lambos the day after her birthday and not exactly on her birthday. But Karen, a present is a present. Take it. Giselle's Spanish is, she says something like Grandpa in Miami, trying to quote Will Smith's, Getting Jiggy With It, where he was saying welcome to Miami in Spanish. But she tried. So we see the ladies in Lambos versus Booze Crew Canoe, as Ashley so eloquently called it. There's definitely no yacht. It's a very humbling situation. The ladies must take off their shoes, pedal this boat down, some little river, and they're eating sandwiches and drinking beers. Not exactly the flashy fun that you would expect coming to Miami. We see Karen's driving. She initially called herself a speed demon, but it's more like driving Miss Daisy. Karen can't get the car out of park. Karen's just doing all kinds of things. But it's cute. It's good to see her having fun with Mia. She even says something to Mia about how she was wrong for spending part of the time of her birthday with Wendy and not with Mia. And Mia said, I appreciate you for owning up to what you did. Back on the boat, as the ladies are pedaling along, Ashley says to Robin, "Hey Robin, how are things going with all the things? How was the wedding? Are you all going to have a private ceremony?" And so Robin says, "We're going to have a wedding. It's going to be very, very small, very, very private." And Ashley's like, "Robin, why are you being so coy?" And Robin's like, "Well, I just choose not to go into detail when I'm around people who don't like me." And Candace immediately took that as Robin was just talking about Wendy. But for me, I took it as Robin was talking about Wendy and Candace, because neither one of them have been kind to her. And in my mind, I thought it was wise of Robin to not go into detail, because why am I telling you all my business? None of you all like me. I want to say maybe with the exception of Charisse, because Ashley has come at her about her marriage. I think Candace has, but either way, definitely Wendy has. So why am I sitting here explaining how happy I am knowing that these women are ready to shoot you down as soon as they can? It makes no sense. And for all the crap that people give Robin, I say bravo to you, Robin, for being wise and keeping your mouth shut, keeping your happiness to yourself, because these women are miserable. And misery loves company, and obviously they want something to discuss. Okay, so the ladies in the Lambo was definitely a vibe. Robin is talking to Giselle about how she heard Candace discussing the girls on Instagram days before the trip. A blogger posted it. Robin was disappointed because she supported Candace against Giselle. Here it is, her best friend telling her, or saying that this man made her feel uncomfortable, but yet she's siding with someone else. Which shows you how fair Robin can be. Now that we know that in this recording that Candace did, so I can understand. So it makes sense, because at first it was just like, well, why would Robin be so messy? Everybody is being discussed according to Robin at the time. It makes sense for her to bring this speaker to the table. So we're still anticipating that to happen. And it does make sense as to why Robin feels so strongly about it, because she was still befriending and checking on Candace and checking on Chris, despite what the consensus was between Ashley and Giselle about Chris. Now, I gotta get into this, you all. I am just as much a free spirit as anybody else, but Ashley's outfit for dinner, I think it's horrendous. And we hear her say she can't see herself, which means that she's probably in a room without a full-length mirror. But someone could have said something to her. I mean, I'm all about being sexy and showing skin, but girl, what is this? It looks like something you wear to a circus. It's not giving what she probably thought it would give. And I hate that, because we know Ashley has a cute little body and shape and stuff, but that outfit. Going forward, Candace starts asking about Wendy to Mia, like, would you be okay with her coming to dinner? And everybody pauses and looks at Mia, and Mia's like, no, I'm not okay with her coming. Y'all have asked me, this is the 8th time, and the first 7 times I told you no. And then Ashley says something to the effect of, why would Mia not be over it by now? But correct me if I'm wrong, it's only been day 3. Like, Mia literally shed blood. Granted, the purpose of it, like meaning whose fault it was or whatever. Anytime, and I guess maybe these women have never really been in a fight. When you've been in a fight with somebody, it takes a while for you to get over it and literally want to sit down and eat dinner with them. That doesn't happen. I don't care how many cameras are rolling. Regardless of that, they all go to dinner, and then you see Ashley going downstairs or going outside or showing up late. That's what Ashley did. She showed up late, and Giselle asked about her, but Ashley was out actually inviting Wendy to the dinner. And so she came to the dinner and sat down beside Mia and said, hey, Wendy's in the area. She's going to stop by. I invited her to dinner. And so then Mia is like, you disrespectful little brat or something like that, to which she looks surprised that Mia called her a name. Oh, the drama. Okay, so we see Ashley return to the table. Charisse promptly calls Ashley on the carpet and says, Ashley, you made an executive decision and did not include the group. Ashley feels like her actions were okay. Candace provokes Jacqueline. Here she goes. She likes to poke the bear, and then she wants to run and play innocent. She throws stones and hides her hands, y'all. Do you see this? And Jacqueline's like, I do what I want. Like, and it's just really weird as to why Candace is so anti Jacqueline. It's like she wants to pick on the person who's the lowest on the totem pole. And not saying that Jacqueline is the lowest on the totem pole, but pretty much Jacqueline's not a main character, but she's Mia's friend. And why would you do that? Just note that. So Robin says to Ashley, you need to understand where Mia is coming from. She's trying to explain to her that they had an argument, it's okay if Mia is not comfortable still having dinner with her. You may be over it because you weren't involved. You weren't a main character in that discussion or in that fight, that altercation. So before she can finish, Candace jumps in and puts her 2 cents in. Are y'all seeing this? Are you seeing Candace, Little Miss Victim, jumping in? Surprisingly, Wendy apologizes to Mia. Now, this is big. It wasn't quite an apology. It was one of those, I'm sorry if you felt like, it wasn't one of those like, I'm sorry that I did this. But she said, I'm sorry for the role I played. Somehow she put in that she was apologizing for telling or at the role she played in escalating the fight I shouldn't call it a fight because Winnie didn't fight back. The role she played in heating up the conversation and the things that she said, because words do hurt people. Okay. So while they like to go around boasting and bragging that they don't use their fists and hands and feet, they do use their words and they hurt just as bad. It cuts to Robin pulling out the stereo or the little Bluetooth, unbeknownst to anybody except for Giselle, possibly Ashley. I don't know if Ashley's in on it, but the girl Karen makes a little joke about Robin and her technology, because remember last time Robin brought out the cell phone and was recording. But when she plays it for everybody's eyes are bug-eyed. Okay, so the part about the recording that seemed to have stung everybody was the little businesses part and the panhandling. In true form, I can't remember right now as to where this has happened, but this is how Candace reacts whenever she's caught red-handed. She deflects. And so she's sitting up here saying, oh, I didn't really mean everybody, especially not you, Robin. I thought you were the most faithful friend or loyal friend. And I didn't mean you, Karen. And so because she says, I didn't mean you, Karen, Ashley jumps in and Ashley's like, well, actually, Karen, Candace told me that you date other men and, blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, because these editors are on point, they show Ashley and Candace sitting at the table, and it shows that it was a month ago. Candace obviously talks so much, she forgets what she says. And she was like, why would I tell you when you have such a big mouth? Which is, of course, what I was thinking. Like, why are you being so friendly with Ashley, knowing goodness well that you all will smile at each other's face 1 minute and then backstab each other for the next hour? It never lasts long, their relationship. When Karen hears this, she's like, is this true? And then Candace is like, no, this is not true. She is lying. And then so Karen gets up and, goes to the bathroom. Candace tells Ashley, you need to go talk to her and tell her. And Ashley's like, I need to tell her. Well, she said, if you were joking, then you need to say that to her, that you were just joking. Like, it's not on me. This is what you said about Karen. She was like, I never said it about Karen, to which Ashley starts crying. Giselle says it out loud. Candace starts crying, and Giselle sees it out and says it out loud. And goes, Candace, are you crying? And she's like, yes, I'm crying. And she's condescending to Giselle. She runs off to Chris with her folded napkin and tells him how fake everybody is to her. And of course, Chris coddles her, bless his heart. Then Karen comes back and she's still livid, but it starts raining really heavily. And then the girls just like kind of all disperse and they decide to go to the club. Giselle's like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm going to go home. I'm tired and my feet hurt. And you can tell by the way she's walking. And I think ladies, we all know that walk where you've had too much time in the shoes that are uncomfortable. So she's like, I'm going home. And for whatever reason, again, Candace cannot not be condescending. And it's just like, girl, that's why you got to go. Or something like, that's why she has to go, because she's 39,000 years old. Like, girl, you sound so young. Just stop. It's okay for her feet to hurt and go home. You don't like her anyway. So why are you mad? Why do you have to vocalize? Just don't speak her name. These ladies go out. Apparently they have shot. Wendy and Robin, you see them hugging it out. You see Mia and Candace all in each other's faces. At some point, I think Candace puts the narration out there that Mia goes home early. And Ashley, for whatever reason, felt the need to call Mia. And I don't know if Ashley was calling Mia so she can hear the conversation or record it, or if Ashley was calling Mia because she genuinely wants to talk to Mia. But either way, we hear the conversation between Candace and Robin. And Candace is having a complete meltdown. And she's mad, in summary, at Robin because of what Candace said out of her own mouth to the public on Instagram. Girl, you've got to be held responsible for your actions. And her feet are never held to the fire for too long, I should say, before she starts deflecting and making it everybody else's fault. And so she's saying to Robin, to me, gaslighting Robin, you're not a real friend because a real friend wouldn't do this. And Ashley points out, how are you calling her a fake B? And then saying she's a friend. Like, which is it? Child, and the episode ends. I'm tired. You all let me know. Did this episode give you what you thought it would give? You know, because they're great at editing and showing you a trailer of what's to come. I was hoping to hear more on that speaker Robin presented because, you know, Candace was like, is that all? I don't know how much depth she went into when she said it. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm glad Candace is showing her colors. I hope Wendy sees that she does not truly have a friend in Candace. I don't like Candace, y'all. I don't know if you noticed. She's a pretty girl. They're all pretty women, but I don't like Candace. She's very ugly on the inside. So we'll see. With the editing, do you feel like there's a way for Candace to get redemption from this monologue that she gave to Instagram about how she feels about all the girls, even though she didn't say, with exception to Robin and Karen? And the ladies kept saying, you know, God is angry because of the lightning. That was striking. But do you feel like there's anybody in the group that is loyal? I personally do feel like Robin is the most loyal person. And I feel like that's why Robin gets picked on the most. Because, I don't know, Robin seems to be the only one who like owns all of her stuff. Like we knew up front, Robin is living with her divorced husband. Her husband cheated on her. Robin lost her money. Like I feel like Robin put it all out there. And so they picked her apart. But for the women who, quote unquote, held themselves together, because you can't hold it together, but for so long on reality TV, they started unraveling. And so that's where the tension lies. I don't know. Let me know if I'm looking in it too deep. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Again, I apologize for my raspiness of my voice. Not feeling my best, but I definitely could not sit this one out.